Welcome back to another episode of the Sincerely Ours podcast. I am your host, Zishan. Thank you again for joining us this week. I'm going to wear my headphones like this time. To be honest, it doesn't sound the greatest, so I don't know what the audio is going to sound like, but I can only hope for the best.
Yeah, I picked the wrong studio, I'm not going to lie, sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot the difference, I'll be real.
Between the two, this might be the worst, if I'm being honest.
Do you know what? So when you text me, my connection was so bad.
Yeah.
I got the message like 10 minutes late. I was like, okay. It took me like 10 minutes to load into the website. I was like, I'm just going to pick the first one that came up.
Yeah.
37 came up first, obviously. I was just like, don't know. Yep. Apple paid it. Sick.
Look, either way, yeah.
Still bring contact.
Yeah, either way, episode is going out. So if there is any audio difficulties, I apologize. And now that I got that out of the way, it's kind of in line with what I want to talk about for this episode.
Okay.
People don't really understand the difficulties in producing a podcast.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Posting it on a weekly basis.
That's what I was thinking.
So I want to dedicate this episode purely towards...
Our podcast brothers.
Yeah, purely towards that. Let me start off by saying this. I am doing my very best in producing podcasts and putting them out on a weekly basis, while also juggling a work life. Now, for those out there that have whatever dream, podcasting, whatever it is, and of course you're going to balance that with your
real life,
as well as your personal, social, hobby life, all of those things. For me, the two things being, this is what I want to really do versus my work life, it's a genuine battle. It's very tough. For those watching, for those listening, it may not seem as tough. Let me be the first to tell you, it's very tough. To the point where, today, for example, as we were recording, I had to think twice about whether even coming here today, because I'm trying to juggle my work life as well as my podding life.
And our social life, because we were having quite a fun time chilling out where we were chilling out.
Yeah.
And we literally did say to each other, can you cancel it and get reimbursed?
Right before the session.
Literally like about 30 minutes before, and it said no, and we were like, okay, now we definitely need to go because I don't want to waste the money for it, you know what I mean?
It's a tough thing, yeah. When you start podding, it's really exciting, and don't get me wrong, it's still really exciting because I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
Oh, 100.
I'm like this. I'm not even like this. I'm like this, right?
We don't realize it, you know, but podcast is such a big thing.
It requires so much work.
No, but not even that. It's just the viewer, the attention that podcasts get. The biggest ones, we don't realize it because we see the numbers on YouTube and stuff. We don't realize it, but that stuff gets views.
It gets views, and people don't realize how much work goes into it. Now, of course, I'm not comparing myself to them. Way more work goes into that. But what goes into what I'm doing now?
But don't forget, they have a team. We don't have a team.
Possibly, yeah.
No, not even possibly. They have a team.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if we wanted to bring something onto the screen for the viewers to watch, we would have to edit that in ourselves or get it up on our phone and go like this or for whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have someone sitting in the background. I'm using Joe Rogan, for example, but he has a guy called Jamie sitting in the background with a massive screen on. He's not editing that.
What does he do?
He is like a narrator. He's in the background when he's mentioned and he'll speak.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Rogan has a team,
right,
for all of these things. Mm-hmm. He's not doing this, but he only does is he gets the guest on.
Yeah.
He speaks to the guest.
Right.
The research comes, and I'm guessing here because obviously he's a big person and he's a big star. I'm just going by previous accounts, but he probably gets the research sent to him. He just reads through it, about an hour and a half beforehand, and he does it. But for example, me or you, each week is a battle to get an episode out. Like I've been constantly texting you back and forth saying, bro, I don't know, I can't find a guest, I can't find a co-host, I can't find this, I can't find that, I can't think of a topic, I can't think of this, I can't get a studio set, my quality is horrible. Do I even release this and let the viewers like listen to this crap, or do I really try to be a perfectionist, this and that? So much stuff goes into this type of like this life that we chose in terms of podcasting, because it is a lifestyle.
Yeah. It's
not a thing where, oh, I fancy podcasting today, I'm gonna go podcast. Nah, it's okay, I've set up a channel for podcasting and I've gained 35, for me for example, I've gained 35 subscribers. Cool. I now need to do it, because whether it be 35 people watching or 7,000 people watching, there's someone still watching consistently. Do you know what I mean? So you got to release it for them. You have to keep constantly cycling and churning out stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, ever since I started the podcast, I've been worked out. I'm burnt out.
Yeah.
Like I do work very hard away from the podcast, but adding that podcast back on top, that's like adding another ton of bricks to my bag, where there's already like 4 tons of bricks already. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing with podcasting is this, right? For those watching, I don't know how people perceive the behind the scenes. For me personally, it's a lot of work. People come and go, but I don't want to get into that. That's something completely different. I just want to get into the creating part, right? Like, it's a lot. I'm only nearly at 200 subscribers. That's nothing compared to nothing.
And I'm even smaller.
Yeah.
In comparison. That's how crazy it is. I would get gassed if I was at 200 subscribers. But in retrospect, we are
putting work for that.
And we are not even ants in the human world.
Yeah. We're
not even ants. That's how small it is. You know what I mean? Like, It's crazy, because I thought, I'd be bubbly, I'd be funny, I'd be me, I'd get subscribers, I'd get views. And my first podcast, in retrospect, did very well.
Yeah.
I've been struggling to get 50 views.
Right.
Which I'm not bothered about, because I'm not doing it for the views, I'm doing it for the passion, I'm doing it for the keeping busy aspect of it. But still, you know what I mean? Like, all the work, you want to get some sort of reward out of it. You want to get at least 100 views.
Yeah.
Mate, it is a struggle. But that's with no marketing, no advertising, obviously.
Yeah, I implement that.
I don't. I need to start implementing it, because I feel like when I start really getting my content, that's why I haven't mentioned it to you, because I don't feel like my content's there.
Right.
My first couple will come, but I don't feel like it's there yet for me to start banging 1,000 views and really feel like I work for that. Because I want to work for the 1,000 views. I will advertise and pay for the advertising, whatever, or whatever the process is. But I want to feel like I really released something that's good, and then I feel like, oh, that deserves the 1,000 views. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, for me personally, when I compare it to juggling it with my work life, first of all, I work a lot. Okay, it's an option whether I want to work a lot or not. And me personally, at the age I'm at, I want to, for specific reasons. For reasons most guys would want to at my age. But when you then have to do podcasting or even have a social life, it's very tricky in terms of keeping a specific balance. The balance part is it's ridiculous. I'm always going to try my best to put content out. I'm never going to stop. But I just want to let the people know, like, it's a struggle. Not a struggle in the sense of like, oh my God, I'm dying to do this. No, like, sometimes it's a struggle of trying to keep that balance when you just have so much going on.
Do you ever get creator's block?
Yeah.
I get it all the time. I get it every week.
All the time. But the funny thing is, people won't understand. People won't know what that is. People won't know what that is. What the work you put in behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Before you even get in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And the amount of behind the scenes that go through it. Creating a podcast is doing nothing. No, it's great. First of all, it's great and I love it and I'm always going to do this. Financially speaking, it's taking more out of my pocket. Obviously, I'm not getting paid for any of this, but it's coming out of my pocket a lot, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. But I want to show people the realness behind what's going on behind producing it, which is why, again, I wanted to dedicate this episode to just showing some sort of transparency behind what goes on. Because if there's anyone out there who's trying to make it or do all these things, just know it's not always going to be peaches and creams. It's not always going to be the fairy tale success you want it to be. Sometimes behind the scenes, you are going to have to do the most possible in order for what you're seeing in front of the camera or what you're hearing in front of the audio to sound the way it sounds. It's not the smoothest process of planning before executing. Sometimes it requires a ton of work just for it to sound this good. And sometimes when people put out these pods or anything, for example, it may look very easy to do. I'll be the first to tell you it's not easy at all. Again, I'm probably not the first to tell you, but as someone who's like this, and for the audio listeners who are listening, when I'm doing this, obviously you can't see, you're just hearing. Meaning as in I'm nothing in the greater schemes.
You're a piece of dust.
Yeah, if
you're a piece of dust in the wind.
If we're comparing to everyone else.
Oh, 100.
Right? So much more work has to be done.
Bro, even you're an ant compared to someone that's got 1,000 views, 1,000 followers, subscribers. Sorry.
Let's be very clear. I'm getting there soon.
100%.
Yeah,
and
my work
as a fellow podcaster, and not just as a mate, and not just as a brother, as a fellow podcaster and seeing the struggle. And I'm new to this shit.
Yeah.
Sorry for my language. I'm new to this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm new to this game. Like, I'm only a month in terms of running my own thing, running my own broadcasting, my own company, my own whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you get there.
Yeah, of course I know.
But I'll ditch my own podcast to help you get there.
Yeah, I know that.
Like, I said it to him off air, I said it to him on air. My podcast ain't for views. My podcast ain't for likes, ain't for comments and stuff. I ain't doing it for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it to show that I have capabilities of running my own thing. Whether it's successful, when it's unsuccessful, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I do it because the day you brought me on the podcast, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The second time you brought me on the podcast, I think we made one of your best episodes.
I agree.
Viewership may not say that because it's such a long podcast, but I feel like it was such a free-flowing thing.
Yeah.
It's a passion, but once you get into it, you get into it. There's no like backing out of it.
Let me be very clear.
And I'm gonna get you to that 1K.
Yeah, I'll be alright. There is no backing out.
We're gonna get you to that 1K.
I don't care what anyone says, how anyone feels, or what anyone says, thinks, whatever. It's going to happen regardless. I'll be very honest. Like, this for me is a massive, massive, massive passion. This fulfills me. I feel like I'm great in this. And I just wanted to share with the audience the things that goes on behind the scenes. Don't get me wrong, I love what I'm doing. I'm just showing you I'm just providing you transparency. I'm just giving you the transparency of some of the struggles we deal with. And it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. This episode is as short as, obviously you're looking at the time length, because I specifically wanted to dedicate this solely towards that. I don't want to drag it on. If it's short, too short, let me know and I apologize. And 2, I take that as a compliment, not as a diss. And thank you for listening
Yeah,
to some of the transparency that I provided with you. Thank you.